Hi, my name is Pam O'Neill. I am the Vice President of Communication and Administration with People Incorporated. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of People on the Move. This episode features the South Coast Mentoring Initiative for Learning, Education, and Service, otherwise known as SMILES. SMILES is a school-based youth mentoring program serving at-risk youth in grades 1 through 12. This episode features one of our mentors, who was recently acknowledged by the Patriots organization for his volunteerism in the SMILES program. We think that you are going to find this episode very rewarding in the story that is told from a mentor's perspective. We hope that it will encourage you to think about making the difference in the life of a child and becoming a mentor. Information is available on the end of this show on how you can become a mentor, or visit our website at www.peopleinc-fr.org. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy this show.
Hi, Aaron Hubley here, Director of the SMILES Mentoring Program, sitting with Lee Snitzer, one of our volunteer mentors in the program. How are you, Lee?
Fine, thank you.
Good. So today we're here to talk about SMILES and SMILES being a part of People Incorporated and fulfilling People Incorporated's mission, which is to provide premier services to kids and adults of all abilities in a collaborative and creative environment. Now, part of fulfilling that mission is educating the community about mentoring and the value of mentoring, and also bringing to light some of the events that we've been having within the community that kind of showcase that value of mentoring. And what other way better to do that than to have one of our volunteer mentors here today to share his experiences in the program and talk about what mentoring means to him, and also talk about some of the events that he's been involved with in the community over the years that he's been a mentor. So Lee, as I said, you've been a mentor for a good amount of time now. If you just want to say, how long you've been a mentor for, how you originally got involved in SMILES,
I've been a mentor for about 8 years now. I thought there was a need for it when I first started.
You want to tell us a little bit about each mentee that you mentor?
Sure. Over at Cuss, I have Jesse. He's maybe about 2 years. I've known him for. I have Ronnie at Doran. He's a new one, so I've only had him maybe 2 times.
Sure.
Kyle at Talbot, I had him since the 2nd grade, and he's now in 7th grade. He was started off as a literacy program, and then when he started into the 7th grade, it's more of a one-on-one kind of a thing. And I also have Michael over at Durfee. He's had him since 9th grade.
You have some mentees that you've been involved with for 3, 4, 5 years now, and you have others that you just started with 2 weeks ago. Obviously you're kind of an expert in the relationship building process, but can you talk a little bit about that and what it's like maybe to sit with a mentee that you've been mentoring for 3, 4, 5 years as opposed to a mentee that you've been mentoring for only 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, it's getting to know a mentee. It's basically listening to what they have to say and building that relationship over time. I mean, in only an hour a session for 2 weeks, so know them for 2 hours, and really not going to know all there is to know about them. But
sure,
over time, you get to know them, and basically, they become almost like family to you.
So, being the program director, mentoring is really close to my heart, not only because, I'm running the day-to-day operations of the program, but, because I came from a similar situation to a lot of the at-risk youth that we're supporting. So, with that being said, was there anyone in your life who was a mentor for you? Whether it was a formal mentor or an informal mentor, is there anyone that kind of stood out to you as a positive role model in your life that kind of led you to where you are today and makes you want to kind of pay it forward?
Actually, I never had a mentor growing up. I do see a need for it, to help kids. Nobody was there for me when I was a kid, so I'd like to be there for other kids.
Great. That's awesome. So, you were involved in the Patriots Difference Maker of the Week initiative.
Yes.
So, for those folks that don't know, about 2 months ago, the New England Patriots approached me and asked if we would like to be a part of their Celebrate Volunteerism initiative. And what that is, it's just a way for the Patriots to kind of raise awareness for different aspects of volunteerism throughout New England in all fields such as healthcare, arts and music, education, and of course, mentoring. So what happens is over the 15 weeks or so of the regular football season, different folks from the Patriots organization ask respective program directors of whatever volunteerism field that we're in, such as mentoring, to nominate someone, a volunteer from their organization that sort of goes above and beyond the call of duty day to day in their program. So as the program director, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to nominate Lee. And, it was one of those things where we were kind of, you were entered into a pool with a ton of other folks from around New England to be sort of the difference maker for the week of mentoring. There were plenty of other organizations that they reached out to. But when all was said and done, you were chosen to be the Patriots Difference Maker of the Week. So what happened from there was the Patriots invited some of their players to come down on their only day off of the week and sort of participate in a community activity. And we did that at Cuss Middle School, where Lee currently mentors one of his mentees in the 7th grade. And that was a really neat event. And it was one of those events that really kind of draws a crowd and it really raises awareness.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was something where, Lee got recognized for the great work that he does day in and day out. But it was also a good opportunity for the community to become involved. And just to highlight the partnership that Smiles has within the community, within all the schools that we're in. And,
as much as an honor as it was to see the New England Patriots, to get an autographed football, to see the players, that was really spectacular. I mean, I was shocked and surprised when they called me and said that I'd won the award, but what makes me happy is to see the kids interact with the players, and what a great time they had.
Yeah, they did have a good time.
And seeing them have a good time makes me happy. So
yeah, and it was a good sized crowd too. Overall between mentors, mentees, and other folks that showed up, we had over 50 people there, and it was a really good opportunity too because we had a chance to showcase some of what we do in the programs day to day. So what we did is we have different hands-on team building activities that we sort of showcased at the event that was held at Cuss Middle School. And so, Lee, one of the activities we did was the hula hoop pass, which I know with being a mentor for 7 years, you've kind of done these activities like through in and out, and
fun.
You know them like the back of your hand. You want to talk a little bit about the hula hoop pass and what kind of was going on there?
Basically, it's just everybody gets on a long line, and there's a hula hoop connected, and you have to sort of like, I don't know.
Everyone moves hands, and you have the hula hoop from one person to the other.
Snake the hula hoop around you and to the next person.
Right. And it's neat because, we have these activities that we do in programs, and, they're fun. The kids are having fun. The mentors are having fun. But they're really team-building activities. We base our curriculum on the 40 developmental assets in the middle school. And what those are 40 individual assets that are grouped into 8 different categories. Things like support, empowerment, social competencies, positive identity. These are all critical building blocks that contribute to a young person's upbringing. So in the program, when we're doing the activities with the kids and the mentors, everyone's just having a good time. Everyone's laughing it up, but they're really kind of learning how to work with one another, work with adults, and it's just a really good thing to do. We also did the blindfolded obstacle course with some of the players. I believe it was Darius Fleming who was involved with that, which it's neat. So that's where a bunch of Dixie cups are spread out over 10 or 12 feet or so, and an individual gets blindfolded. And what we usually do is in the programs we have a mentor and a mentee team, and they have to they'll each take turns being blindfolded, and then they have to direct each other through the maze using only audio cues. And that's also a fun time too. So it was great to see mentors, mentees, and also the PATS players sort of intermingling, and these big 7-foot tall guys trying to avoid these 3-inch Dixie cups. But sixth graders from CUS, and then all the mentors there sort of mingling. And
all the kids wound up getting pictures of the Patriots. And
yeah.
To this day, they still have them taped on their notebooks, and they have the stickers on their notebooks. So you can tell the impact that the Patriots had on the kids.
Yeah.
Definitely made a positive impact, and they were very happy, and I was surprised to get the award.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you certainly deserve it, and the kids certainly deserve it. And then at the end of the event, the players and members from the Patriots staff sort of presented all the pictures that were hanging in the locker room to the school as a token of their appreciation for hosting the event there. And that was also a neat thing to see too, because the Patriots are really doing their part to build relationships in the community. And it was just an overall good event. So with that being said, we talk a lot about why mentoring is important. Like, mentors offer support for education. Students who meet regularly with their mentors, are so much more likely, than their peers to skip a day of school, and they present new career paths for youth, and mentoring reduces juvenile crime, and improves self-esteem, and all these statistics are really great. But at the end of the day, it's about you sitting with a child who needs a positive role model, just sitting one-on-one.
It only takes an hour
right
out of the day, and I find myself noticing that after a while, knowing my mentee, that an hour seems to be too short. I find myself wanting to spend more time, but it never seems like there is enough time. Only an hour a week, and it's very easy to do.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is easy to do. It's also neat on a back note towards the Patriots. You're actually going to be honored again, sort of on a more grander stage.
Yes. I was kind of shocked to get an email saying that during the Bills game on the 28th, they want me to go on the field during halftime for another kind of an award.
Right.
And that's basically all I know about that for now.
Yeah, but that's something really great, and that's something that the Patriots are doing just to raise awareness about mentoring and all sorts of volunteerism within New England. So that's a great honor, and it's good to see that they're giving back in that way, and then that they're raising that awareness, because folks will see you, they'll see the Smiles logo on the Jumbotron, and it'll hopefully entice some people to kind of find out about Smiles or about mentoring in general, and kind of what it's all about. Like I said, going back to why mentoring is it's one of those things that improves workforce readiness, reduces juvenile crime, presents new career paths for youth. There are a ton of statistics out there. Students who regularly meet with their mentors are 52% less likely to skip a day of school, and 37% less likely to skip a class.
I also find a lot of these kids usually either live with one parent or maybe a grandparent. So
right, a lot of them
definitely they need structure in their lives, and
and that's kind of
provide that once a week for them.
Right, and structure is a big part, and the kids that we do support come from a list of different backgrounds, and there it could be various reasons why they're referred to SMILES. Social emotional issues, lack of support at home, issues getting along with peers, issues getting along with adults. But at the end of the day, kind of the common thread that ties them all together is that they need a positive role model. And that's what folks like you are doing week in and week out. You're showing up, you're being consistent, and you're providing them with a positive role model.
That's definitely a big thing, the consistency, because like you said, they don't have that in their lives.
Right. So SMILES offers a few different types or styles or models of mentoring, if you will. You're kind of involved in all of them, or have been involved in all of them at one point or another, given your tenure as a mentor.
Yes.
So we have a literacy-based program model, which focuses on different components of literacy: phonics, fluency, vocabulary, comprehension, writing. And we kind of use literacy as a way to sort of bridge the gap between a mentor and a mentee, just to kind of nudge open the door and get them talking. We always tell our mentors they're not teachers or tutors or anything like that, but the literacy just provides that structure.
We would read books to them and maybe do some word games, crossword puzzles, that
Sure.
kind of thing. Definitely, excuse me. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of fun to read to kids. And
Yeah, for sure. There is a lot of shared reading opportunity. And
they would read. We would take turns reading back and forth.
Yeah, shared reading is one of the best things. I mean, we have a library of 3,000 books that we provide to the mentors.
A lot of times they're the ones reading. They don't. It's kind of boring for them. But if you tell them that you're gonna, take a page, read that, and then you read the next page, it becomes
Right, you make it interesting. For them. Yeah, and it does become fun because not only are they're reading, they're improving their literacy skills, but they're forming a relationship with a new friend. Essentially, someone that they need in their life to provide, some guidance or just shoulder to lean on in a time of need, which is great. So we also do what we call traditional-based mentoring, which, as I mentioned before, is based on the 40 developmental assets that were developed by the Search Institute. Now, essentially what we do in traditional-based mentoring in the middle schools is we provide hands-on activities for the mentors and the mentees to do, things like the hula hoop pass and the blindfolded obstacle course, just to sort of provide a sort of team-building aspect. That way these kids are, they're participating in these fun activities, but they're also learning some valuable life skills at the same time. What's been your experience in your traditional programs?
It's been very positive. Basically, I tell them that if there's anything you ever want to talk about, we can talk about. And
Right, and that's an interesting aspect of SMILES too. Is we provide the structure, whether it's literacy based or traditional based. But it's really a free-flowing, loose nature when you're in the program because, a mentor and a mentee don't necessarily have to participate in an activity if they don't want to. If you would just like to talk, discuss what happened over the weekend, talk about current events, something like that.
well, usually I tell them anything that we say is between us. We're not their parent. We're not their teacher. Basically, we're their best friend, and they trust us, and they can tell us anything that they want. And 99% of times, they wind up having to say something. Sometimes not every single time, but maybe that one time where they really need to talk to somebody, and you're that outlet for them.
Right.
It does help.
Right, and that's a very important aspect because a lot of these kids, they're going home and they don't necessarily have that outlet that you're speaking of. So we also have one last model of mentoring that you also participate in, and that's independent mentoring, and that doesn't take place in a group setting like the literacy or the traditional mentoring does. That's just one-on-one, one mentor, one mentee, and that's at the high school level. And I know you've been with your current mentee over at Durfee High School in an independent setting for a couple of years now.
This is the third year.
So the third year. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what those meetings are like, and perhaps what you guys talk about, and
Sure.
how you help him?
Sometimes we'll just sit around and we'll play Uno and tell jokes, whatever, talk about the day. But other times, they have things, teenagers, things happen and they really, need to talk to you about it. I'm just glad that I'm there for them, and
Right.
it's a one-on-one, like you were saying. It's different than the other ones.
Right. Well, it's true. It's different, but like I said, you're involved with all aspects, so you're kind of a model mentor in a lot of
Thank you.
ways, where you're involved in every level of the program, but you're also involved in so many kids' lives, and not only the 4 that you currently mentor, but also the kids over the last 7 years that you've mentored, and you're always making a positive impact day in and day out. So that is, a really important point that I'm bringing up in the sense was, what motivates you to be such a great mentor, and what motivates you to have 4 mentees, and what gets you to the school day in and day out?
Like I was saying, when I was young, I didn't have a mentor or anybody who mentored me. I basically was on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had kids, I was involved in their lives. And now that they're out of school, I wanted to contribute helping children. And I got involved with one mentee, and that went to another one, to another one, to another one. And then I followed that one from school to school. Then, yeah, definitely, it's been very rewarding.
Great. So, what would you say to folks who, if you were talking about mentoring with them, and they just kind of say to you, I just don't have the time to mentor. How would you address that with them? What would you say to them?
It's only an hour a week, and everybody has an hour that they waste doing something trivial, I'm sure. And as far as like getting the time off, most companies, I believe, pay for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know
certainly
a lot of different companies will let you take an hour out of your busy schedule to go mentor.
Right, that's a good point. There are a lot of good community partners and businesses out there that allow time for their employees to mentor. Is there anything else you want to say or add?
No, that I didn't think of.
Great. Well, thanks for joining me today and talking about your experience with Smiles. It's been great.
It's been good being here. Thank you.
And we hope to have you as a mentor for another 7 years.
You can count on it.
Great. If you'd like more information on how to become a volunteer mentor, please contact Smiles or visit us on the web at www.peopleinc-fr.org.